Shalom Israel. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash, the Bawanas to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to like out there doing this work of faith and labor of love with true sincerity. All right, and I wanted to get into a quick lesson. Uh, just getting a little bit into Revelations 12, and some history, and to show how the things of old, how, when they happen, those things take place much later within time, because as we know, uh, history repeats itself. Matter of fact, and that made me think of Ecclesiastes real quick. So Ecclesiastes 1, Slakia. Ecclesiastes 1 and 10, it says, let me start at verse 9. It says, the thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It have been already of old time, which was before us. So, history repeats itself, and the same tactics and the things in which they tried before, are the same things in which they're going to try within this current time, according to the scriptures, according to the history, Um, so, start off in Revelations 12 and 1, and it reads, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So we know that woman represents Israel, according to Jeremiah 6 and 2. The Lord said, I have likened thee unto a comely and delicate woman, right? So that woman being clothed with the sun and the moon, all right, that represents the knowledge, the wisdom, and understanding of the Most High that we have been endowed with as a nation. It's a specific scripture, because we know that wisdom causes of a man's face to shine. A specific scripture in reference to the moon too, but I can't think of it right this second, right? So, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And we know that those 12 stars represents the nation of Israel, right? Going back into the dream in which Joseph had, okay? So this is Genesis, I believe it's 37, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay. Where do I want to start? All right, it's Genesis 37. And I'm gonna start at verse 5. All right. It's Genesis 37 and 5, and it says, and Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obeisance to my sheaf, meaning what they bowed down to it. And his brethren said to him, shalt thou indeed reign over us, or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dream and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon, and this time, the sun and the moon represented his mom and his father and his mother. And when you look at it throughout history, just the world in general, it's usually how man and woman is represented. Within today's time, they would say, the sun and the moon. They would say the earth and different things like that. Lingo of how Jake talk. You know what I'm saying? Lingo of how Jake talk, right? Behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. So he's saying, talking about what the stars. So the other 11 stars was his brothers. So he obviously had to be that 12th star, you know. So that just goes to show right there that the stars is a representation of the nation of Israel itself. Okay, so within this vision, uh, in which John saw, he saw Israel being that nation, clothed, with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and the 12 stars representing in general each tribe, each individual tribe, right? Verse 2, it says, and she being with child cried, travailing in pain, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. Okay, and that represents Yahweh Shah. That represents Yahweh Shah. All right, we'll get into that in a second. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. This could get into a much deeper thing, but I'm gonna just keep it real basic, because within this case, the dragon represented Herod, but this gets into a much deeper topic, you know. But in this case right now, we're just gonna because the dragon in general, when you go to Revelations 20, the dragon in general represents Esau in general, because the dragon, what, a serpent, a slick, a sly, a treacherous person, so on and so forth. So this could get into different, many different facets, you know. So, but we're just gonna keep it basic as far as in reference right now pertaining to this lesson. So, the dragon represented Herod, which was coming forth, to towards Israel to, to destroy us. Okay, according to the book of Matthew, which you're gonna get in a second. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, because what Herod, within that time period, you had the southern kingdom over there, okay, in the land, and at this time, the northern kingdom had already made their way over here to to the Americas. Okay, they already made their way over here, and you had the southern tribes and a partial of Levi that was still over here as well, and as well as some other tribes scattered, roughly scattered, in the midst as well, but mainly Judah and Benjamin, and in a part of Levi that was still here. Okay, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth, because they made a scatter, from Herod attacking us. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it were born. And she brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with the rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto the Most High and into his throne. And that's when Yahweh Shah basically went up into the heavens after he sacrificed himself. But it was Herod that tried to devour Israel as a nation, and it was Herod that went through the land, seeking to kill Yahweh Shah. Okay, so I'm at the Malachi too. I'm at the Matthew. This is Matthew 2:1. Now when Yahweh Shah was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he gathered all the chief priests and the scribes and of the people together, he demanded of them where Yahweh Shah should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, and thou Bethlehem in the land of Judah. And this, I believe this is in the book of Malachi, if I'm not mistaken. Malachi or Micah, one of the two. And thou Bethlehem in the land of Judah art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring him me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them till it came to and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of the Most High in a dream that they should not return to the Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. Okay, and which they did. And when you go further on, the verse 16, it says, Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. You know, and as you start talking about the prophecy written in Jeremiah, you know, but in general, the things in which happened back then are going to happen within this present time, because Esau's main agenda is to seek and destroy Israel. You know, this is the whole reason of him doing what he's doing with the chip. You know, bringing out all this new technology, stirring up the world war's war so that he can maintain the power structure that he's been in for what about 400 to 500 years. You know, what, about 400 years now. So he's trying to do everything within his power to maintain that structure. Okay. Yeah, so because when you go into the different prophecies pertaining to what Esau is coming to do to Israel in general, right? This is Lamentations. Yeah, I'll just read this real quick before I get into it. Yeah, this is Lamentations 4 and 17. It says, As for us, our eyes as yet fell for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. They hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness. Okay, so these are the things in which Esau done before, and these are the things in which they're going to be doing now. And they mainly seeking out the prophets because, you know, they know that we hold the keys to the kingdom, which is the names Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shah, and delivering the word into our people on a daily, you know, so that we can slowly rise to power and overthrow this devil by the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. Okay, so it's all through prophecy of what they are coming to do. You know, that's why, going back to the original precept, there's no new thing under the sun. Okay, so going further real quick, just to pull out, you know, prophecy pertaining to what martial law, right? Deuteronomy 28 and 52. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates. Who's Esau? Because he's the one in the power seat, right? And it talks about too. Matter of fact, let me go back to because we're just saying yeah, this Deuteronomy 28 and 43. It says, the stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. So what? All of the strangers that's around us, that's within our cities, you know, our neighborhoods, making money off of us, you know, they going to get up very high. We brought down very low. So going back to verse 52, it says, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates. Why? Because they they control our gates. They got the money, they got the resources, they got, the stores, so on and so forth. All other nations own stores within our neighborhoods instead of our own people, Why? Because this is not our rest, and they all conspired according to Psalms 83, to bring us down to this low stature, to keep us away from our righteous power. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout all the land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout the land which the Lord thy power hath given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters which the Lord thy power hath given thee. Okay, so this happened before. What? During the time of Masada, this is going to happen again. Cannibalism. So we're just going forth, to show forth the evidence of prophecy throughout history, because these same things are going to play out once more. All right. That's why when you see in the Book of Eli and other movies of edification, other TV shows and different things like that, they bring about cannibalism and how people are going to be. And also it gets into that in Isaiah 8:20. How people are going to be walking through the streets, hardly but steady and hungry, and when they look up, they're going to curse the king their power, because they're not going to be able to eat as they should. All right. Also, what? According to Isaiah 65. So, and it says, in this, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy power hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness, wherein thy enemies shall distress thee. Okay, so this is all prophecy here, man. This is all prophecy in the great tribulation, the time of Jacob's trouble. That Jacob's going to be facing. When Esau is presenting them with the RFID chip, the mark of the beast, when all these evils and said perils are to come down upon, the nation of Israel and the world currently as we know it, man. And you're not going to be able to escape. Matter of fact, real quick, it's another one in Job. It's Job 21, if I'm not mistaken. Was it Job 19? I believe it's Job 19. Yeah, Job 19, right? It's Job 19 and start at verse 8. It says, start at verse 7. It says, behold, I cry out of wrong, but I am not heard. I cry aloud, but there is no judgment, because people are going to be seeking, a death as opposed to going through the trials and tribulations of the times that are going to come, because it's going to be that harsh. The scriptures say there shall be a time as none other upon the face of the earth, right? He hath fenced up my way that I cannot pass, and he hath set darkness in my path. He hath stripped me of my glory and taken the crown from my head. Israel's been taken away from that crown. Israel been taken away from the righteous path. And also Esau, he's going to be blocking the path. He's going to be having curfews, martial law, so on and so forth, things that are going to be in the way, He hath destroyed me on every side, and I am gone, and my hope hath he removed like a tree. He hath also kindled his wrath against me, and he hath counted me unto him as one of his enemies. His troops come together and raise up their way against me, and encamp round about my tabernacle. This sounds like how they going to be sagging people homes, martial law, the red list, yellow list, blue list, whole thing, and they definitely going to be gunning for the prophets. We already know this, right? Weeks before, according to their the information that they have out, he hath put my brethren far from me, and mine acquaintance are verily estranged from me. My kinsfolk have failed, and my familiar friends have forgotten me. They that dwell in mine house and my maids count me for a stranger. I am an alien in their sight. I called my servant, and he gave me no answer. I entreated him with my mouth. My breath is strange to my wife, though I entreated for the children's sake of mine own body. Yea, young children despise me. I arose, and they speak against me. All my inward friends abhorred me, and they whom I loved are turned against me. The scriptures talk about how our family members and friends are going to turn against us, right? According to the New Testament in Luke. So let's grab that real quick. It's Luke 21:15. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom which your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. Because people are going to be constantly speaking up against us, right? and ye shall be betrayed both by parents, right? Just how it said in Job, both by parents and brethren and kinsfolk and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But there shall not an hair on your head perish. In your patience possess ye your souls. So these are the times in which we're facing, right? And how it's in verse 20, and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then ye shall know that the desolation thereof is not. We're not physically in Jerusalem, but Jerusalem now just represents us as a people, the different cities, the ghettos, and the hoods throughout America and throughout the world where Jake predominantly resides at, man. They're going to come down on us, man. We all going to feel a wrath. Even the prophets are going to feel a wrath to a degree, but we're going to be much better off than the average Joe Schmo out there, because we're prepared with the Spirit of the Lord and going through this training period, this trial period of what the Lord is putting us through by going through these sufferings, man. You know? So prophecy is definitely in the works of Esau coming down, and these people are not going to be ready of it, man. They're not going to be ready for it, you know? So, we just continue to prepare daily, by getting into, the word, bringing out the prophecies, because this is the job of a prophet, to bring out the word, to bring out a forewarning for our people, so that they may possibly have the opportunity for the Lord to put the Spirit upon them to wake up, or they be doing the damnation, based upon their stubbornness and the hardness of their hearts, man, and to be marked, man, So, with that, I hope this segment was edifying. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash, double one to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to Lek out there doing this work of faith and labor of love with true sincerity. Shalom.